Great. So hello, everyone. Thank you for those that are introducing yourself in the chat. We're really looking forward to this session today with Sohaila, and I'm really happy to present her. Sohaila and I have known each other for some time now, but I'd love to hear more about her business as well. And welcome, Sohaila, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here with you. My name is Sohaila, and I'm a venture capitalist. So that's what I do in my daily life. I have Moroccan roots, so shout out to all of my Moroccan friends who are in the call. And yes, so just a brief intro about myself. I have started my tech career sort of 13, 14 years ago, and I spent the last 10 years in the intersection between large corporations and startups. So I bought a lot of startups for large corporates, so on the M&A side, but I also partnered with startups in business development type of roles. And then in my current role across different industries, and in my current role over 6 years now, I am with BMW and I'm leading their corporate venture capital fund. It's a quite large fund. It's a fund of 500 million euros, and we invest in the US and in Europe, unfortunately not yet in Africa. But I have a huge passion for entrepreneurship and specifically empowering female founders. That's where my heart lies. So beyond that daily job that I have of being a VC, we are also headquartered in the Silicon Valley, I should mention. So the majority of the companies I work with are US companies, but I also work with European companies, including companies from Israel. And in our team, I'm running the operations here in Europe, and I'm responsible for our portfolio management, which means that I work with all of the companies that we invest in. I help them to grow, I help them to build the right partnerships, and I'm very frequently speaking about venture capital, and I love to answer questions. That's also the idea for today, to just open up, have a full dialogue, answer questions. And I would love to talk with you about what I call my heart project, which is the African Tech Vision. This is an initiative that I started along with a couple of friends from the VC and startup world, where we are sort of opening doors for female early stage founders. So we are built a full digital initiative where we're supporting with access to really high quality mentors, international and African mentors, as well as educational content around entrepreneurship. Because on my hunch to find out and learn more about the African ecosystem, I learned very quickly that there are some programs out there which don't have the quality that is needed, that there are some programs that are very much catering towards the needs of a foundation. Many female founders told me that they feel tokenized, or they feel like they're a statistic and it's not really customer centric or about them, the programs that they are part of. And I just met so many amazing women that impressed me very much, from even super young founders to experienced founders, that I felt like them, like the most resilient startup entrepreneurs, African startup entrepreneurs, and the women, what should I say? So I was like, I need to do more. And that is the idea of the African Tech Vision. I have a pitch deck with me, Faye. I don't know if you may want me to jump into that and show a little bit what this is about.
Yeah, of course. Of course. We'd love to see some visuals.
Perfect. So let's do that.
Should be able to share your screen. There you go.
Yes, perfect. So as mentioned, the African Tech Vision is all about empowering female entrepreneurship. We want to do this at scale. So this is why the initiative was planned from the get-go as a Pan-African initiative. Although I'm Moroccan and I love to be engaged in Morocco, I feel like there are amazing entrepreneurs all over the continent, and I'd love to work with all of them ideally. And the core behind this is that we believe in that enormous potential. And speaking to founders in different countries in Africa, I learned that many struggle to get access to capital. Even getting a loan from a bank is kind of impossible. Or like one guy said to me once, you need in Morocco, in order to get a loan, you need to be rich already, which is not the purpose of a bank actually. And finding access to the right networks and the proper content sometimes could be challenging. So we wanted to tackle these problems by creating an online full digital experience where we provide specifically value add content in these areas and curate that kind of experience. So I'm on the left side here. You already met me. I'm not alone in this. Like, these are amazing people. Amadeo is a former entrepreneur. Marine used to work for Techstars. She's a rock star COO. This woman gets so much done. She's like 20 people. Pretty crazy. And Mohammed is from Cameroon, data scientist with a deep tech background. And Johan, who you see here in the middle, is also CTO, very well connected, has a large CTO network, used to be the managing director of Techstars in Munich, and a bunch of other amazing people. So it's not on my own. That would be kind of undoable. But to give you maybe a sense of who we are, it might be right to talk about what we believe in. And in the core, in the center of all that we do is this strong belief that once fully empowered and, once we build a collaborative relationship with the female founders, that they actually have the potential to pretty much change the outlook for Africa. We believe that women specifically are often driven to build technology or products and services which serve the community, and therefore there's lots of statistics that actually prove that women give that type of wealth back to the community. So we believe that women have an integral part, and we call them purpose-driven founders, because quite often that purpose, that inner deep feeling of wanting to change something and wanting to make something better for the greater good of the community is what drives a lot of female founders. So we believe that female entrepreneurs will build what we call a more humanized, ecological, and economically sustainable system than maybe some of the male colleagues we have seen. And we definitely believe that they are the biggest lever, which is why we're starting and contributing to the female ecosystem. We have a lot of respect for Africa and the continent. This is why we don't want to do anything just on our own. We collaborate. That's how we made the amazing folks from DoerTech, because we want to work with those organizations which are on the ground, which are there, that have the experience, and just add up to their programs. And sometimes I say we're almost like a tribe in the most positive way, because we're a living community. We're supporting each other within the team, but within everyone who's part of this. Also, the mentors that we have as part of the program are a large, support. Everyone's watching out for each other. That is pretty much what we believe in. And what is it that we offer? So it's quite straightforward. We know that the role models are an issue in terms of tapping into high quality role models. So the coaching and mentoring part is important. And here I want to mention we have mentors in our program that are amongst very, very experienced serial entrepreneurs, very famous VCs. Like, we are all at stages in our life when we don't come from, another industry. We are part of the venture and startup world, and all the people we bring in are successful people in the industry. And it's international. So it's people from Africa, it's people from non-Africa, from Europe, from the US, from Asia. So the level of interest in actually meeting women like you is extremely high. And the barrier sometimes is just how to make access, how to get the access, how to build a relationship. We have also catered, you've seen, we have a lot of people from Techstars in our team. So we developed a high quality program where we have content. So we have like bi-weekly content where we talk about how to pitch, how to write your finance plan, these types of things. And we have networking experiences. So these are the three buckets: connecting with role models, learning through the content, and learning in the community, basically, which are the three main things that we do. So on the high level, this is a 6 weeks virtual hands-on program. The emphasis is on virtual and on hands-on. So we're, VCs and startup folks. Everything we do was going to be hands-on. You know how your life is. It's busy. You don't have time for a lot of stuff, and the stuff that is provided to you needs to be of high quality. Obviously, it's free of charge. We do this because of that belief set that I mentioned. We don't take any equity or anything like this. We take care of the mentor matchmaking. So all of our mentors are screened. They're pre-selected. We know exactly what the areas of expertise are, and we spice it up with content workshops and social events on a bi-weekly basis, and a supportive community. These are pretty much the basics of the program. So in terms of having an idea on who the mentors are, what are the type of people we are talking about. I just randomly selected just 3 here. There are a ton of other mentors as well. It's men and women, very important to say. That makes it more realistic, and for us is more important, it's the highest quality of mentors. And if you want to know how this works, so if you would want to be part of this, we would ask you to apply through our website. The URL will be provided in here as well. It will need a 3-hour time commitment per week. So if you really want to take advantage of the mentoring and the content experience, we'll need you to commit 3 hours. And committing 3 hours means open your mind really and be transparent in the needs that you have, because these are sometimes people that otherwise you would not have access to. So therefore, making the most out of this experience is critical and crucial. And there will be regular mentor meetings as well as sort of weekly meeting with someone from the African Tech Vision team, because we want to make sure that the experience is positive and is good and that you're getting most out of it. Sometimes over the time, you only learn what you might need or what the questions are, or maybe you don't know yet and you will figure it out. So we have experts that could work with you on concrete things such as creating a pitch deck, creating the right financials, reviewing a term sheet. I saw a lot of founders struggling with term sheets. So the stories I have heard from some of the African founders I'm connected with are nightmares. And there will be bi-weekly workshops and fireside chats. So it's kind of an active community. And with having said that, I skipped through the benefits because I think you have seen that already. Who is this for? So this is for female founders, as mentioned, open-minded with a high interest in learning, early stage founders. That means you should have more than an idea on a piece of paper. You should definitely already be at the ideation phase, or maybe between ideation and Series A. There is no prerequisite such as you have to have funding already, but it needs to be a concrete business, because the people that we selected are operational experts. They are in their field experts, and they can definitely work with you once there's something there. So that is sort of the level. We are not requiring specific industries. This is for startups, tech startups. It's the African tech vision, as I like to say. So that is important in keeping in mind. So these are the people that also are selective. And pretty much it has to, every company has to have at least one female founder and needs to be based out of Africa. That is sort of a requirement. And if this sounds interesting for you, you might want to take into considering to apply. The applications are open until April 18th. We will kick off the program on April 20th. It's running until the beginning of June, June 4th. So what you see here on the slides are the most important dates. And the most important part is the africantechvision.org. This is our website. This is how you can apply. You just need to go to the website, and then just type in, like at the bottom of the website, you find the section for founders, and this will take you to a form where you can apply. I'm just adding here in the chat right now as well our website. And by the way, if you're not tired after that 1 hour listening to me, which you might be, which I would understand, we have today, right after this session, an event coming up. So basically, it's the meet and greet for the team, where if you are free and available and interested, you can meet the entire African Tech Vision team. This session is specifically for founders. So I just shared here in the chat the Eventbrite link. And I hope that there are some rockstar female future leaders in this call that are interested in our offering, and I'd love to meet you at the African Tech Vision.
Thank you, Sohaila. I think that was really informative. I know that we've shared this link with the ladies before, but sometimes it's really nice to hear about the program directly from the person who's put their heart and soul into it. So
and don't be shy to apply at all. I heard from some of my friends, it's like, I'm still thinking, or they have someone that they know, like, go get it, just do it, because this is a high quality program. This is the first batch that we start, and therefore there's a lot of attention on those very few founders. There will be 10 to 20 founders selected, and don't worry about where you are in your business and all that stuff. That can all be figured out. But I can already tell you, by the people in our core team, working with these people could benefit you very much. And then if you see the pool of mentors we have, these are really good people.
Yeah, definitely. I wonder if there are any questions from the women that are with us today about this program. Of course, it would be great to join you in the following program if they can for more details, but maybe if there are any questions, go ahead and raise your hand. Otherwise, I'd love to dive into some of the meat of the program. Oh, perhaps Rebecca's having some issues registering for the program itself. So maybe we can get in touch with her directly after to make sure she can still join. I think you're on mute, Sohaila.
That's amazing. I love to speak when I'm on mute. That makes it funny. So I'm just checking the Eventbrite link. If this is, oh yeah, you're right. So there's a bug. Here we go. We're hands on. It already ended. Let me just write our COO and ask her about how to sign up.
Well, I'm glad we solved it right away. That was quick. Thanks, ladies, for checking that out. That's awesome. It looks like Anthenia had a question. Does the startup have to be strictly IT to be part of the program?
No, it's just some business. It should have a business focus that somehow incorporates tech. So this is the reason why I'm mentioning it, is because there are a lot of social businesses out there and very traditional social companies that this is not for. Because the people, like you saw our backgrounds, who we are, what we do, we would be the wrong people to advise a social business. This is just for a startup.
My question is this: I would like to know if you are saying that you do a mentoring and coaching session. Is it for free? Everyone can attend mentoring
Yes.
and session and coaching session for free.
Yes, everything is for free. So we do this because we believe that it's our personal purpose to contribute in the best way we can. So we are all volunteering. I have a crazy, insane job, VC running a 500 million euro fund. I work day and night, but I tell you, every minute, every hour, every time I spend with African Tech Vision, and I dedicate a lot of my private time here, it makes me so happy. It's like really giving me so much energy. And the same is, that is my thesis for all of the mentors joining us. And it's completely free. We do this because we believe it's the right thing to do.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. I know you're a very busy person, so I also appreciate you being here with us today and sharing more about this. And I'd love to dive into some information about this session as well. So I wonder if anyone else has questions. We did address that it should be an enterprise. So just in case you guys didn't catch that, anyone who's running a business, definitely check it out. We're going to get back to you on the Eventbrite link. But it's just after this session. So right at 4 p.m. Central European time. So stay in touch. Most of you are on the WhatsApp chat, so we'll definitely send some details there as well. So Sohaila, you have so many hats. You're leading the African Tech Vision Fund, but you're also the director of platforms with the BMWI Venture Fund. So I'd love to hear from you about how you see securing investment for female entrepreneurs on the continent, how you've seen it in the past 5 years and now, and what your perspective is for the future, just so we can have kind of a vision.
Yeah. So I'm very unhappy with the current funding situation across the continent for all founders, not just for women. There's still way too much funding that goes to non-African experts, which come up with a bias CV, some famous logos of some universities, and that has to do with the maturity of the ecosystem. So the ecosystem has to mature. The VCs have to go there. The VCs have to have more trust and have to get a better understanding. And to me, it is completely nuts that people would trust someone who is not from Africa rather than an African entrepreneur. So this is a challenge. And there are some blended finance options. There are some grants which can help you to survive like the little bit the beginning. But key to start having a good funding strategy is finding good angel investors from the very beginning. And I can tell every founder, be as creative as you can when it comes to angel investing. I mean, here sometimes it can work that you just reach out to industry experts for, like, let's say you have an insurance business and you reach out to a former CEO of insurance and see if they want to put their money in an ecosystem where angel investing isn't that well known. I recommend talking to angel networks. There are a ton of angel networks in Africa. There are even some that are specifically focusing on the African diaspora. That could be also very interesting, because then you might also tap into new advisors. But this is a huge problem. At the beginning, I mean, the big benefit that the statistics show that women have over men is that they are more capital efficient. So they spend less money to achieve the same milestones. But it's important that you have a very clear milestone planning. You need to know, if I'm today here, what are the next milestones I need to hit? How long does it take me to get there? And how much money will I need to do that? Don't fundraise at the last minute. It is good to have a run rate of 18 months. So when you go out and fundraise, you should have at least enough money for the next 12 to 18 months. That's a general rule. It will be perceived as a very negative from a VC if they look at your business and they see, oh, they're running out of money in 6 months or so. It's like dating. It will look desperate. So you don't want that. And so that is an advice that I sort of can give, but it's not easy. And that is one thing that I want to change. That's why I want to show the potential of the female founders in Africa. I cannot hear and watch these media reports anymore that all negative. Look at the continent, this and that. I don't want to hear that. There are challenges everywhere. By the way, there are not enough female founders on the entire planet. And if I look at how many Black VCs out there, women, I will also see tiny frictional numbers. So this is not an African problem. This is a topic all over the globe.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you see that trend changing now, though? I see a lot of initiatives popping up like yours and like this, and do you think that'll really help change come?
Absolutely. The fact that in the pandemic we all had to do everything virtual, and the fact that now full diligence processes are happening virtual, can open up capital pools. I would recommend you to specifically look for funds that might have sub-funds or initiatives around funding female-led companies, and specifically go out there, reach out to them. I want to share in here also, a friend of mine runs at Notion Capital, which is a London-based VC, a cool program that I really like. It's called Included VC. This is not for founders. This is more for people that want to tap into the venture capital space. But reaching out to them and learning about, the VC space maybe is helpful also if you're a founder or if you know someone. It's a pretty good program that will intend to open up and create more diversity. The problem in the venture capital world, it's not diverse. It's a lot of similarities in the type of investors, and everyone is investing in the small version of themselves. It's because of not knowing. It's a unknown bias that pretty much everyone has.
Definitely. I think that's true. I am actually thinking of an Airtable I have with some different venture capital funds and funding sources for women on the continent. So I'll definitely share that with you guys as well after we get off this call. Sometimes it's just about sharing knowledge that maybe isn't out there.
Yes, and I would like to really use the time we have, like 15 minutes left, just to answer questions. I mean, there is no stupid question. You can ask me literally everything you want about funding rounds, what's the right strategy, how to go out there, mistakes to avoid. Pretty much, let's just try to open it up.
Absolutely. So if any of you ladies have questions about investment or programs or things like this, we'd love to hear from you. Don't be shy.
So if you're not sure about the questions, what I could also do is go ahead and talk about some of the, tips, VC funding tips, some things to keep in mind. July? Faye, would you like me to just
Yeah,
run through this?
Yeah, I thought I saw someone had a question, but yeah, let's go ahead and start with that.
Okay. So one of the main points is about setting a focus. So sometimes when you start a company, you feel like, oh, I could do this, and then I could do that, and then I could offer to my clients this. And if you work in a B2B space and you have large corporate clients, they will ask you to do everything. That's the biggest hurdle. Keeping that clear focus, solve only one problem at a time. This is very important to keep you focused and to keep your speed, your execution speed is also important for your equity story. So once you go out and talk to angels or to potential VCs, their mind is full. They have so much information. Believe me, these are smart people. But even my team, we are reviewing 1,000 startups a year. And we are 14 people. That's not a lot. And out of every 100 reviews, maybe one investment comes out. So it's typically that there's a full information overload. And I always say, have a very clear claim on that one big problem that you solve. That is what people should remember you of and keep in mind one problem you're solving. I would also say minimize your funding. Only take what you really need. This comes back to what I said initially in the milestone planning, planning your run rate and how long you have enough capital, and being very clear, you will be diluted with every funding round. And therefore, it is important that you really only take what you need. There are very few occasions where a funding opportunity might arise, come your way, but I would not just take the money and take the dilution not knowing what to do with it. In that case, also, I would definitely adapt the scaling plans and have a very concrete planning on what this money is going to be used for and if you really need it, because every percentage that you give out of your company is going to what you have missing at the end of the day. If you get to an exit at a certain point in time, you will just have a few percentages left. And then if you grow your company, it is also important to keep in mind we call this an ESOP pool. That's a pool of options, shares, which you have to keep for your managers. So if you grow your company is successful, you want to have top-notch managers and you want them to be incentivized. So the key employees in your team need to have that. Having a pool like this typically happens after the seed. So Series A would be the first time, for example, when a pool like this is created. So the function would be that you take out of all of the shares a small proportion, everyone commits some of them to put them into the pool to have that. And that's also important. And then I'd like to highlight the importance of being a good storyteller. And honestly, who should be better a storyteller? I know there's some Moroccans here. We invented storytelling, and I'm sure everyone in the call will now say, no, we invented storytelling. And I probably believe it's true, because this is part of the culture, of the African culture as well. Being an amazing storyteller, capture people's attention, make them wanting to learn more about you. You have to have a story, and specifically your founder story needs to be very compelling. People will ask you, so why did you start this? And you better have an amazing story, and stick to the truth. But your passion and your desire to change something needs to be transparent in your founder story. So that is extremely important. And the better, like, the people forget facts. It's very hard to remember, did she say she has 10 million revenue or 5 or whatever? But a story like, oh man, this was the woman that's changing this and that, this is what she experienced, something that can directly relate to your own experience. This is powerful. This changes the game, and some of you might have been a little shy in this call, and I tell you, your shy self needs to walk into the closet and stay in the closet for the next time that you go out funding and want to be an entrepreneur. This is one of the most intimidating things you can do in your life, and probably one of the most rewarding things as well. And having that, stage presence, being able to go out there, tell your story, convince people. You need that for everything. You need to convince people to work for you. You need to convince people to buy your products or your services. You need to convince people in order to get funding. So storytelling, storytelling, storytelling is key if you want to become a successful entrepreneur. And then also, I wanted to mention that I've touched up on the notion of timing. It's hard to time the markets. Better be not late. I mean, don't raise at the last minute. That is super critical. And you have to be very sure about when is the time to scale. Scaling should only happen if you truly have found your product market fit. So product market fit means that you have a product or a service that actually is 100% what the market needs. And until you have that, you have to tweak your offering. So working with early customers is exactly what tells you that. You have to be careful though, if you work with a large corporate customer, that they don't eat you up. They don't like that you tailor something which only works for this very specific customer, but it needs to be something that works across a multitude of similar customers. But finding that product market fit is what the beginning of your endeavor should be. That's pre-seed, seed, and until Series A, you should have had your product market fit, and then scaling starts. So this is important that you are critical to yourself and before. And I've seen this happen. This sounds so easy, but actually is very hard. So many companies, also companies I have invested in where I've lost millions of euros, are companies that scale too fast because they thought they had figured it out, and I thought it's just small things they need to tweak, but actually they didn't have the right product market fit. They started to scale, they had massive cash burn, and yeah, pretty much then ruined the company. That's bad, very bad. One other point I would like to mention is the terms and conditions of the term sheets that you accept. So here's the problem. When it comes to an ecosystem which is not yet very developed, it means that there is not enough capital for the amount of founders. So it's more capital than founders. In a more developed ecosystem, it's different. Like there's always like more need than capital, but for the very good founders, there is too much capital. So the good founders, it's competitive. The VCs try everything to get in. Once competition amongst venture capitalists starts, this is when they start to give really good, friendly, founder-friendly terms. And if it's not the case, and that I heard from many African founders, is that they receive horrible terms. And if you're not sure about the terms in your term sheet, you always need to have your own lawyer. And I want to, encourage you. You probably all know the Medium posts. Go to Medium and check out term sheets. What should a standard term sheet look like? Read Medium posts. Medium.com is the website, the blog, where you can find articles about pretty much everything in the world. And that is where you can make the biggest mistakes. And also, make sure you have what we call a clean cap table. A clean cap table means, so your company at the beginning when you started is 100% your company, 100% of the shares. So on the cap table is only you. Then the first angel investors maybe come in, so they have certain percentage, 10%, 20, whatever. So they are on your cap table. And what is very bad is obviously you'd never want to have a dominating investor. You always want to have that sort of balanced out. And you don't want to have, if you look to raise from institutional investors, so financial VCs, maybe you need to be careful with putting on a strategic in there, specifically a strategic that gives you bad terms, such as not allowing you to sell your company to a competitor, for example. So this is what I mean when I refer to a clean cap table. All the things that I now mentioned and that I explained will be part of the African Tech Vision mentoring. There will be, just like me, many other VCs that you can talk to, that you can ask your questions, and that will help you sort of to learn and get a better understanding.
Thank you, Sohaila. I feel like we all just learned a lot in just 5 minutes. So I hope that this was helpful for you ladies. I'm seeing that we have a newbie, Lynette, in VC. So I'm not sure if there's some really basic stuff that you wanted to share about venture capital. Maybe for someone who's maybe never even heard the words venture capital before, what should they know?
Yeah, venture capital is risk capital. So a VC will invest in your company, typically for, maximum of 8 years, but typically it's less. It's active investment phase of 5 years and receiving therefore shares from you, so they have equity, and hoping to double their shares once you make a successful exit. That means once down the road, your company is being sold or has an IPO. That's venture capital. And I'm posting right now here. So could you guys see this? This is a direct link to the session that will start at 4 p.m. So in 20 minutes, if you're interested. I am sorry that the Eventbrite link doesn't work, but I hope this one does.
I'm going to share it right now to the Marana chat as well, so you guys will have it on WhatsApp.
Any other questions? Beautiful ladies in the call might have. You know, and I always make jokes with my friends about University of YouTube, but it's true. You can find everything on YouTube. You can find also amazing podcasts about venture capital, where you can learn the terms that you need to learn about in order to understand what is in the term sheet that you receive. There are so many different ways. At the beginning, once you start building your company slowly, you don't need that much capital. But it's important, what I call your equity story. It goes back to storytelling. What is the story that your company is telling? What I like, many says, I'm the new Uber, I'm the new Tinder, whatever. But this is just part of an equity story. So people would understand where you're coming from, where you're going, and would have that, you know, fantasy. And it's like, okay, this can become a very valuable business one day. And keeping that equity story in mind and doing, you know, good PR about yourself as a female founder and about your company is crucial. So going on stages, public speaking, writing PR notes, sharing them, have a, you know, updated LinkedIn. That's also all important nowadays.
Absolutely, so much that goes into it. Well, if there aren't any other questions from you all, let's let Sohaila go, and you can join her in just 15 minutes if you want to learn more from her, which a wealth of knowledge. So I've shared the link with you all on the WhatsApp channel. If you're not in the WhatsApp channel, please send me your number right now via the chat, and I'll be sure that you're added, and we'll get that link to you as soon as possible. Otherwise, thank you so much, Sohaila. Any last thoughts you'd like to share? I'll give it just a moment for people to ask any questions in the chat.
No, but I'm just realizing that I think I might have shared the wrong link. So another team member just chatted to me. It's like, this is the attendee link. So don't use the first one. Use the second one. That should be the right link. I'm just writing her back. Got it. So that should take you. And even if you missed today's session, don't worry. Like, please go to our website, africantechvision.org, and just register on the bottom of the page as an interested founder. You know, someone of my team will get back to you with the process. The application isn't crazy complicated. You don't have to open up your full heart. It's pretty much telling who you are, what the story is, what your company is about. And I can ensure you that this is a high quality program, completely free of charge. So go get it.
Thank you so much, Sohaila, and thank you everyone for joining today. We look forward to seeing you in the next session, and have a great day in next session, Sohaila.
Thanks for inviting me, Faye. Thanks everyone. Bye-bye. Bye.